Hey guys, I'm back. I got another video response for you. This is going to be my response to FKVlogs video on the new Taylor Swift album. I have the album right here, 1989. This is the deluxe edition. I do also own the standard edition of it. And you know, I am very comfortable in saying that I am a massive Taylor Swift fan. I think she's a fantastic singer. I love her songs. Her songs have got me through some pretty rough times, so yeah. But I'm going to do a little bit different from what Frankie done. Frankie, you know, obviously went through all the songs. I'll link her video and her channel down below. If you want to go and see what she rated the songs on the album. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do more talking about Taylor Swift in general. Her albums, her past albums up to this one. What I rate them and what order I put the albums in rather than like the individual songs. So, for me, 1989, when I heard that she was going completely non-country, she was going all pop, I was a little bit like, oh, okay, fair enough. We kind of seen it coming. If you are a Taylor Swift fan, you've probably seen it coming. Like, there were a lot of kind of poppy songs on, even as early as her Speak Now album. Songs like The Story of Us, that was pretty poppy. Even, you know, in the UK, I know that we had a slightly different version of Fearless from other countries. I know that songs like Love Story and a couple of other songs that I actually can't remember off the top of my head didn't have the country kind of banjo stuff on it, whereas I know that the US version of Love Story had a slightly country beat, country vibe to it, whereas the UK one didn't. Same with her song Mine was slightly remixed in the UK, and it's you know, I think you can get both versions on the deluxe album of Spotify of Mine, and the same with Love Story as well. But anyway, for me personally, I didn't really think that, you know, I was like, shit, she's gonna, you know, she's not going to do as well, because like people, especially for her die-hard fans, but I feel like bringing Shake It Off out as her first single from this album was probably her best decision she's made for this album, because I feel like by her doing that, she's really showed people, I'm serious about this, I'm not, you know, I'm not fucking around, I am pop all the way now, and I do like that. But to be fair, there are a few songs on her Red album, which is the album before this one, where you could kind of see her pop coming through. Like, you know, like she was toying around with genres even back, you know, with Red, with songs like I Knew You Were Trouble. That was not country in the slightest. Songs like 22 as well. What else from Red? You know, there's a whole bunch of songs on Red. Even songs like State of Grace, things like that, you know, were pop oriented kind of thing, you know. And even We're Never Getting Back Together. So really, I kind of feel like she kind of already went down the pop route already with her previous stuff anyway. But I know that, you know, the songs like Treacherous, All Too Well, those sort of songs on Red were still very, very much Taylor-esque songs. But yeah, you know, this is by far her biggest kind of danciest, poppiest album to date, and you know, I like it. I'm not the biggest fan of Shake It Off, I will admit. I do like it, I enjoy it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I love her new song Blank Space. I think that's a brilliant song. Anyway, you know, I think this album will do her good. Look at it this way, and this is what I said to Claire, if it wasn't for this album, I don't think she would be fully in mainstream yet, but I do think, like I said, her Red album pushed her a little bit into the mainstream market, and this has really hit home with people. Like, you know, this girl's here, she's here for the long haul, you know. But like I said, but you know, with songs like Love Story, which was back in her Fearless album days, you know, I knew she was here for a while anyway. You know, but looking at it this way, the way that I see it is, if it wasn't for her new album, she wouldn't be doing as big a tour as she has now. She's coming to Glasgow, which I'm going to see her in Glasgow, and I'm going to see her in London. She'd only ever really done London or Manchester before, so it kind of shows the fact that she's expanding her tours a lot more now. Shows that she's done the right thing. She's getting more popular, she's getting more into the mainstream, and that's good, because I want people to know how good she is. I've known for years that she's good. I've been a fan of her since 2007 when her first song, Tim McGraw, came out. I think it might have been earlier than that it came out in the US, but I'm pretty sure that it came out, it didn't technically come out here. I think it was like you could download it on iTunes and all that crap. But anyway, so I'm going to quickly round off all her albums. Give me 1 minute and tell you what I think of them quickly. If I can look them out, that would be fantastic. I should have done this probably before I started this video. Alright, got them. Okay, got them all. So, in my opinion, this is totally my opinion for her. This is her debut album, which came out in 2007. This is her self-titled album. I do have a couple of editions of this. This has songs like Tim McGraw, Picture to Burn, what else will people know? Tim McGraw, Picture to Burn, Teardrops on My Guitar, and Our Song are all on this album. This is very much her most country-esque album. And even though it's not terrible, it is probably her worst album. Keeping in mind that she was only like 15 when she wrote these songs, you can't really expect her to be fucking amazing, but yeah, that's her self-titled. So this is, in her 5 albums, this is 5th on my favourite of her albums, so yeah. Next up we have her third album, Speak Now. This is the deluxe edition of it. So as you can see there. So this is number 4 on my list. And again, this album isn't terrible in any way. You've got disc 2 there as well. So yeah. This is in no way her worst album. In my personal opinion, I feel like she's had a lot stronger albums than this. This is number 4 on my list. For people who want to know this album, this is the album that had Mine, You Belong With Me, not You Belong With Me, what am I saying? Story of Us, what other singles did she have from this? Mine, Story of Us, Back to December, and Hours. Her single Hours was on this as well. Speak Now, which was, I think, was played in New Girl as well at some point. So yeah, there was actually an episode of, this is quite an interesting, a cool thing, there was an episode of New Girl, the TV show New Girl, that was loosely based around Taylor Swift's song Speak Now, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so Speak Now. At number 3 on my personal top 5 is her last album, her 4th album. Was it the 4th? Yeah. 4th album, yeah, Red. This is probably my most listened to out of all of her albums, even though it's not my favourite, it's only 3rd on the list. This is my favourite album by Taylor Swift. I just think that this really hit home with me. It had a lot of songs that I could really connect with, and it really shows her vulnerability in this album. I feel like this was the album where she really branched out into pop, like I said. Even though people say this one is, I really do think that she kind of branched out into pop in this album. I personally adore this album. I think it's her best to date. Especially I love the next one that I'm going to show you in 1989. I just feel like this is her best. Musically, lyrically, everything. She's got duets here on this with Ed Sheeran. She's got a duet with Gary Lightbody, I believe his name is, from Snow Patrol. Anyway, I think this is the album where I can safely say, as well as, I'll just show you the number 2. Number 2 is Fearless. no it's not, sorry, number 2 is 1989. These two together are go hand in hand, I feel like, you know. This one's a lot popular, and like kind of got trance, electric songs on it. Very, you know, reminiscent of the 80s, hence the name 1989, but the fact she was born in 1989. But for me, Red is by far her best album. Out of the ones that I've shown you, is her best album. Just songs like All Too Well, Come Back, Be Here, you know, you've got Red as well, Treachery, all these really vulnerable songs on here that, you know, she really opened herself up, and I feel like this is the album that really connected with people who weren't her fans before, because she's got a really good way of really connecting with an audience, really connecting with her listeners. So yeah, and I really feel like at the stage that I was in my life, with, you know, relationships with friends, with my love life, with, you know, decisions that I had to make in my life, this album was really a big influence on helping me through that. So yeah, that's my number 3, that's Red. Number 2 is 1989. This is, Red was number 2 for a very long time, but the more I listen to this, the more I love it. I just think that there are some fantastic songs in this. My favourite songs are All You Had to Do Was Stay, and Clean. I love New Romantics as well, but all the songs in this are pretty good. But unlike Red, there are songs that I skip on this album. For me, for an album to be like really up there, it has to be an album where I will listen to every song without skipping it. And then we get to the number 1 album, and I know for a fact that I'm not the only Taylor Swift fan that thinks this. Fearless, this is the UK, no, this is the Australian edition of Fearless. As you can see, it's got Love Story and track 3 on this. Then you've got Love Story pop version, which is, I believe, is the one that the UK got. I do have the UK edition of this as well. But this is by far her best album to date. Every song on here is fantastic. You know, you've got singles such as Love Story, 15, Fearless, You Belong With Me, Our Song, Should Have Said No, J-Dot's My Guitar, what other song? Should Breathe as well, and White Horse. Forever and Always as well was a single. You know, most of the songs on this album, and Change as well, most of the songs on this album became singles because it was that good. And although this was probably her worst performance on the charts, apart from her first album, it was by far her best and remains to be her best album. Every song on here is fantastic. I completely and utterly love this album. But again, like I said, Red I would listen to more than this, but I like this one more than Red, because I feel like this is the one that I can chill out to, I can have on in the background when I'm doing things around the house. Whereas Red is when I want to sit and think about things, when I want to sit and think about what I've went through in the past year of my life, what I've went through in the past 2 years of my life. If I want to sit down and have a think about things, Red is the album that I put on. So probably these two are the albums that really mean a lot to me the most, I think, for 2 different reasons. This is one that I love to put on just to have a good time with, you know, and, you know, whatever. So yeah guys, that is my video on Taylor Swift. If you guys are a Taylor Swift fan, let me know what you guys think, what order would you put her albums in, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye guys.